Yo, what's going on, guys? It's me, Tim, and it's been a minute since I have made a first impression review on something new on my channel. Now, I've had this camera for about 6 months, so I wanted to give a quick few thoughts on it and why I decided to buy it and why I decided to keep it. First, I've made the commitment for the remainder of the year to not take any more photographs with my iPhone. I want my phone to be a phone and my camera to be a camera. I don't mind carrying two different things, but what I do care about is using the right tool for the right job. My goal as a photographer is to train my eye for better composition, and while I can do that with my phone or iPhone, I've personally decided to stop and use a camera to do that. My hope is that this initial first impression of this camera that we'll discuss a few things that you won't typically hear or see in a review of the Ricoh GR III X. Now, I want to talk about the feel of this camera first. The first thing that kind of grabbed me about the GR III X was its feel. You know, it's a very tactile experience when you pick up a tool and it just clicks, literally and metaphorically. The body construction is carefully orchestrated for durability and comfort, yet what most folks overlook is the subtle grip dance your fingers do when you're holding it. And it's not just about the weight or the texture, it's about it becoming an extension of your creativity. When you have something that just gets the job done, it makes it so much easier to take it out and shoot with. Now, I would argue shooting both the Fuji X100V and the Ricoh GR III X that I actually prefer the Ricoh for multiple reasons. One is that everything is so simple on this camera. The Ricoh just works. The Fuji is beautiful, but the compact nature of the Ricoh just makes it a camera that I always want to reach for when I'm running out of the house to just not knowing what I may shoot. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is the focusing on this camera. We all know autofocus is an important feature in a point and shoot camera. The Ricoh GR III X takes it to like ninja-like levels. This camera silently locks onto your subject. No fuss, no noise. It's just quiet, confident click. And what you might not catch in other reviews is this knack for focus precision. It's not just about the speed, but it's about the ease of use that this camera locks focus on. Most reviews that I've watched before I purchased this camera did not really talk about the touch to focus to shoot feature that the Ricoh has. It's even better and faster than using my phone. The touch, focus, and shoot the capture is simply amazing. All you have to do is turn the camera on, touch, and shoot. That's it. Just touch the back of the screen. Now, something else I wanted to talk about that I didn't really see a super ton, but cameras are often like our little adventure buddies. We bring them everywhere, but this camera is not meant to be caught out in weather. Most reviews don't even really do into a deep dive into this lack of weather sealing, but when you're out there capturing moments where raindrops meet sunlight, you'll want to turn this camera off and put it in your camera bag or your pocket because it does fit in your pocket. I've seen at least 20 posts on Reddit about people ruining this camera by shooting with it in rainy weather. I just would not do it. Why would you spend $1,000 on a camera to just sit in your desk because now it is just a brick because it's not weather sealed? Something else that I think is like really important when we are discussing cameras today in the Lord's year 2023 is about firmware. Now, I know this might not be as glamorous as the megapixels and focus speed and image quality, but it's the heartbeat of our digital camera souls today. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. The same goes for camera companies. Firmware updates are its reaction to the ever-evolving world of photography. Most reviewers overlook the importance of these updates, but let me tell you, this is the camera's way of saying I'm growing with you as things get better. The last update on the Ricoh GR III X was in August of this year, and I know this isn't something that's like super sexy to talk about, but someone who lives as a photographer, I would always support a company that is constantly working to improve the cameras with firmware updates. Now, I know there are other companies like Fuji that also really updates their cameras quite frequently, but I can tell you that Ricoh is doing the same. So if you're kind of like on the fence about buying a Fuji or buying this Ricoh, I would probably say you couldn't go wrong with either. My personal preference is the Ricoh, and I know there are like, it's as small as these like little tiny digicams that we used to shoot with, and it just fits in your pocket. The Fuji X100V, you can squeeze it in your pocket, but it's not really meant to go in your pocket. Now, you do lose some of the coolness factors and features that you get with the Fuji that you don't get with the Ricoh, but it just works. And sometimes the tool that works is the best tool to use. Now, I always like to leave any of my camera reviews or first impressions always kind of saying the same thing. The camera is just a tool. There is nothing special about this camera that's going to make your photography better. The only thing that's going to make your photography better is actually going out and shooting with the camera you own. I know that if you're watching this, you're probably in the market for one, or you are at least thinking about getting one. But if you're thinking that it's going to make your photography better, it won't. Take the time to take your camera that you have out to train your eye to see the world differently. Now, it can help because it's fast and it's easy to use, but it's not going to make you a better photographer. That's all I have for you today. This is just like a really kind of like 3 things that I kind of wanted to share about like my first impressions about what my thoughts are on this camera. I'm going to share a couple of images. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I promise I will do a little bit more of a deep dive on this camera as I shoot with it. As always, I bought this camera with my own money. It was not given to me. I did not rent it. It is a camera that I will constantly come back and do a review on. I promise that there will never be a review done on my channel that I don't revisit later on and kind of further my thoughts about it. Because anytime you buy a new camera, it's exciting. I don't want it to be just jumping from camera to camera to camera and then never revisiting the camera that I've already reviewed on my channel. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the images. And if you have any questions about this camera, leave it in the comment section, and I promise I will get back to you with my thoughts and my answers. Thanks again. Peace.